Hello again. I hope you're having a great day. So we're going to look today at the happy birthday card. And for that I used the base. This one's going to fold out this way. The base of 4 1/4 by 11 of Flirty Flamingo. And then the inside is a piece of Whisper White that's 4 by 5 1/4. Sorry, I wrote 5 1/2. It should be 5 1/4. And then the Designer Series paper on the front that's 2 1/2 by 5 1/4. On the Flirty Flamingo piece, the base piece, we're going to cut off 1 1/2 inches. So I'll put this to the side so we can work on this one. All right, so when you cut your paper lengthways, again, it's going to be 4 1/4 by 11, okay? And then on what's going to be the front of the card, just move these out of the way for a minute, you want to cut off the top 1 1/2 inches. So if you put that in your cutter and line it up at 1 1/2 inches and just come all the way to the fold line, and then you can flip this, put the fold line right there in the gutter. It's hard if I'm not right over top of it, but I think that got it. Yes, it did. So now, put that out of the way, you end up with a piece of paper that looks like this, okay? This is the piece that we just cut off the front. From there, you can either stamp your inside piece first, or you can go ahead and adhere it. I'm having trouble with my dimensionals today. So I think I will go ahead and stamp. I'm going to stamp that in Flirty Flamingo. If you want to put it inside first, you can certainly kind of get an idea about where you want it to go. I just always hesitate to stamp after it's in the card, because then if I mess it up, there's no going back. All right, so then I'm going to adhere that. Looks like I must have had some on my finger. I'm having fun today. All right. And I'll put that right inside. Then the piece of Designer Series paper is going to go right on the front. This one goes together pretty quickly, which is nice. Put that here. Make sure I get that. Okay. And then just to add a little interest, I take my, this is a 1 3/8 circle punch. You could use any size really, and I'm just going to punch a little divot out of the one side. Okay, so for me, I punch the divot first so that I can then, I've got balloons cut out of our balloon punch. Whoops, I'm sorry. And then I can adhere the balloons. Let me put those on with these dimensionals that keep getting in my way. I know exactly where I want to place my balloons because I punched the divot first. Okay. So then from there, you can color in your letters with your markers. I take and draw just a little line here and here, and then just draw the tail. Of course, now my pen doesn't want to work. It did just a minute ago. Okay, so just draw a tail for your balloons. Put a little thing there. Okay, and then you can also take some Wink of Stella and put that on your balloons for a little bit of glitter. And that was a very easy card to put together. All right, so I wanted to do another one, and I thought this time I would use the tulip, the Timeless Tulips, okay, because that's kind of a different kind of a card. So for this one, I used the mango base against 4 1/4 by 11, and I'm going to fold that in half. Just realized I used the same color for these two. I didn't even think about that when I was making it. Okay, got it folded in half. Bring my cutter over. I'm going to cut 1 1/2 inches off of the front of the card. 1 1/2 inches, right there. All the way down to the score line. That's why I score it first. You could just measure if you want to. I just like to do it the easiest way possible. Okay, so again, now I've cut that piece off the front. I would then take a piece of designer series paper and put on the front, but this time instead I thought I'd stamp my own. So I just stamped a bunch of the tulips and the stems at the bottom, and I'm using that instead of designer series paper. Let's see if I can get that put on there. Okay. And then I'm going to take I think I'll put this on first this time. And I do want to point out on here, I already had put this in here so I knew where I wanted to stamp my tulip and the Mother's Day. And then I wound up with a piece of green over here where I'd gotten it on my fingers or something. So I just stamped an extra leaf because don't you hate that? You get your whole thing finished and then you wind up with a little ink spot somewhere that you didn't want one. All right, so then if I just put this on the inside, I know that I want to punch my circle about here, punch that out, and that way I have a little place where you can see the large tulip coming out. That's a surprise when you open. So, doing this card with designer series paper and the happy birthday. Whoop, I'll use the one that I already colored and use the Wink of Stella. Gives you a fun little interactive card, or using it as this one I did on a Mother's Day card and just stamping what you want on the front instead of using designer series paper. So I hope either way you'll try this card, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.